This play, as you read, many people do read program notes. Hold on to your program because there's a lot of history there from the director, Hector, from the producer, Josefina, and of course from Mr. Valdez himself. The play was first produced in 1985. 86 at the Los Angeles Theater Center to great acclaim, and there have been many, many productions since then. What I'd like to do is to moderate a discussion. You've stayed because I think you'd like to perhaps, listen to Luis and also ask some questions of either the cast or the crew or the designers or the director. But this is really a very, very important moment. It's been many, many years, Luis, since you saw this play. Did I hear you say that it's been about 10 years since you had seen a production? At the Teatro, about 10 years ago. And it's always a very interesting thing for a playwright to see a work that he or she has written and to see how different people interpret it. I, for one, am very, very excited at this production and how well done it is. It's really a wonderful moment in the evolution of Chicano theater, sticking badges as Josefina. Where are you?
Right here.
There you are, hiding. As Josefina said at the beginning, this play inspired her to go on in theater, and the rest, as they say, is history. These wonderful careers that have been spawned by the Teatro Campesino and other teatros and by Mr. Valdez and all of his wonderful work. So one quick question for the author. What did it feel like to see your play being produced in this space with its history?
Well, for me, it's just pure gratification. Because, it's a wonderful production, and I want to congratulate Josefina on this production. On this lovely playhouse. It really is a sign of progress. In spite of the fact that Badges has not been done in LA in 25 years, nevertheless, this is a wonderful way to bring the play back. And in such a way that you can really see the play. I'm very, very happy and proud of this production. I think you captured the humor and then the drive, and the relevance, I think. Unfortunately, it's still relevant in terms of the industry, and that's something that perhaps we can discuss. But it's not that things have not changed. Some things have changed. Certainly the presence of this company here and the quality of this production is a huge change. And it is something that for any playwright to be able to come back and see their work 25 years later is really gratifying. It still works. So it's a real shot in the arm for me. But in a larger sense, I'm really proud of the achievement here. Thank you, Josefina. And thank you for the director, and then Hector, okay? And the cast, the lovely cast, which has brought the play back to life.
Thank you very much. The evolution of Chicano theater, some of you may know, began long, centuries ago, really, when we were here. We've been here from the beginning. As Luis wrote many years ago, we didn't cross the border crossed us, and a part of that has been our theatrical heritage. But in 1965, when Luis and other striking farm workers created the now legendary and continuing Chicano theater, the Farm Workers Theater, Teatro Campesino, they began a national movement, and this is one of the wonderful jewels in the crown. The play itself talks about several issues, but and I'd love to know what the issues were, because as we said, and I reread it when they told me, when Hector said he was going to be directing it, did I have any advice, dramaturgical advice? I said, well, let me read this play again, and I was just so taken by how contemporary it is, in the sense that these things don't change. We're still playing gardeners and maids, but we also have a few cops on TV, good and bad, but etc. But the questions then would be to you. Do you have, as audience members, any questions about the play itself, the issues that it raises, any concerns, anything you'd like to offer? Asking either the director, Hector, or the playwright, or any of the actors. Come on. Yes.
This is a question for Luis. Mike, you can't hear me? My question is, originally when it was first staged, did you have a dramaturg on board to help with the production? when it was first staged here in Los Angeles?
Actually, it was with the original LATC, not the Latino Lab. It was the LATC that was run by Bill Bushnell. And the play was performed in their inaugural season. And I had the support of Bill Bushnell and Diane White, his co-producer. There was someone on staff that was responding, I forget now exactly the name, but they were not intimately involved in my process. I actually showed up with the script and began to work. I worked off of the responses of the audience and also the cast. They contributed pieces of themselves to this new script, as it happens in the creation of any new play. And you know, we hammered it into being through their energies. Interestingly, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, I really wrote this play for Abel Franco and Lupe Ontiveros, who were the parents in Zoot Suit. And we became great friends, and I loved their sense of humor. Throughout the whole run of Zoot Suit, but especially when we were in New York. And I figured I have to write a play for this couple, you know, but make it a funny one, really get their funny bones out there, because they didn't have that chance in Zoot Suit. They were serious roles. Ironically, neither of them ended up being in the original production for whatever reason. Sometimes your best laid plans don't work out. And I went with Jimmy Victor, with Buddy, and Betancourt as Connie. But anyway, I owe Lupe and Abel Franco, both of them deceased now, and paz descansen, you know, a debt of gratitude because their spirit also fed into this play. Sonny comes from somewhere else, partly from my university days, but they go way back now. You know, I started going to San Jose State back in 1958, so it was a different time. But I went through the same things that university students are still going through, and so I could relate to that. I knew that that had not changed. And Anita Sakai was really a new character and a new exploration for me, is to be able to get into an Asian American character. It was a discovery of sorts that it was possible. And so it was all a wonderful process, you know. I had been writing enough plays not to absolutely need a dramaturg, but I do support the whole tradition of using a dramaturg to evolve new works. I think they can be very, very useful. And we've done that in the Teatro Campesino for each other, you know, over the years. I have three very talented sons, and Lupe, my wife, Lupe, raise your hand, here she is. She joined the Teatro back in 1968. Teatro Campesino, and so she's been my dramaturg, you know, ever since. And my son Anawak is also Anawak. Raise your hand. There you go. He's the oldest of our three sons, Anawak, and then some of you may know Kinan, who's also director, and Lakin, who's now in Chicago. But the thing is that we've worked as a family. We're a theater family, and we do read each other's stuff and respond to it, and in many cases act in it. So when Kinan was just 17, he got to perform this play as Sonny in San Francisco, and he was in his last year of high school, so he had to commute, basically, and stay over on weekends because it was the Marines Memorial Theater in San Francisco Theater District. But that was his cutting his eye teeth, you know, his professional eye teeth, by doing badges. So it's all been a family dramaturgical experience. Okay?
Very, very important process, a very difficult process of writing plays. And of course, as Luis says, all plays come from the heart. And he's a part of every single one of the characters. You would be foolish to say, no, I'm not a part of that. Any other questions or comments from people in the audience? Yes?